In the model ETFAR, or just TFAR, internal representations are the thoughts. Internal representation is how our mind makes meaning of what it's perceiving. So every thought has visual, auditory, kinesthetic, might have gustatory, might have smells. So we classify a thought, add data points to the thought based on what we think we know about it. So a thought is not a thought. Like, you may think, oh, I know that. But when we dig into it a lot more, every thought you think is actually a series of pictures, of sounds, of data points that our unconscious mind has attached to those words that it uses to store and think about what's happening. Remember that the unconscious mind does not do words. It does not do logic. It does not do reason. But the conscious mind does do those things. So when we are communicating between unconscious mind, conscious mind, we're moving from a set of data points, pictures, sounds, locations, feelings about the words, which is what the unconscious mind uses, into a series of words, which is what we perceive as the thought. And this means that every thought you think has a story. It has meaning. And not only does your thought have a story, but your thought has a different story that is almost certainly not the same as my story. So the meaning that I attach to those words in my unconscious mind will almost certainly be different than the story that you attach to those words, which means that we can never assume that we know, truly know what another person is meaning when they use a word or a phrase, or they start to tell a story or share what they're thinking about. And this is one of the key features of really good coaching, is we don't assume we know what the other person is talking about when they're talking about something that we're thinking we know. So this is where we start to question everything. Well, what do you mean by that? Let's go deeper with that. What happens in your body when you think that thought? If we assume we know, and that other person's meaning, like your kids or your spouse or your parents or your friend, if we assume that we know what their meaning is, we will lose valuable data. We are all living in different worlds based on our stories. And then when we think that story, it creates a feeling, which, like I said, in NLP is called a state. It literally changes the energetic alignment and like beingness of our totality, of our aura. A state is complete. So when you are in sadness or hurt, or you are living the belief of not enough, it is a complete state. But you can see that the arrows go both ways. So thoughts create feelings, but we also have thoughts about our feelings, which is often how we get in a loop, right? Especially if you're an emotional authority, you're trying to figure out, why am I feeling this way? And then we judge ourselves for feeling this way. And we have all sorts of thoughts about the person who caused us to feel this way, instead of just being with the feeling and allowing the feeling to be in our body. If we just feel the feeling, feelings typically go away in 15 to 60 seconds. So if a feeling is persisting, it is because we are generating that feeling over and over again with what we're thinking. So if you don't like the way you're feeling, you need to change what you're thinking. And that might involve coaching, that might involve journaling, that involves going in and figuring, what is it I'm thinking that is causing me to feel this way, and how can I change what I'm thinking so that I feel better?